Hey, I wanted to ask you, did you see Vince is in court this week?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but last month he was in a pretty big accident with his Bentley. It was actually the same day that Hulk Hogan passed away. He crashed his 2024 Bentley Continental GT, one of the last V12s, I think. And his attorney is Mark Sherman, and TMZ is saying that he filed a motion on his client's behalf on Tuesday to suspend and dismiss the reckless driving charge. This is all based out of that crash last month. And Sherman said in a statement that if this is granted, it would ensure a complete dismissal of the case, but still allow Vince to convey contrition and concern for the other drivers, which is his top priority. The hearing is scheduled for mid-October. As a reminder, this crash happened in July 24th, where he hit a 2023 BMW 430 and then collided with a median wooden beam guardrail. And I guess there was a Ford Fusion involved somehow. Everyone thankfully was wearing their seatbelts. No one was injured. That's what's important. McMahon has not commented on any of this, but I know that if anybody knows about riding with Vince McMahon and reckless driving, yep, there we go. Good old JR. What can you tell us about some of Vince's wheelman abilities?
Well, you want to damn sure make sure you got your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
He craves speed and adventure. And sometimes on an interstate, speed's not the way to go. So that's just his nature. He likes adventure. And that's the wrong place to put your adventure on a busy highway. So, but that was one of the things that when I rode with him the first time or two, I didn't realize that he loves speed that much, but he does, and he did. But his second chances are starting to run out, I think, as far as his driving is concerned. If I had his money, I'd have a driver, period. I'd call him up, come pick me up. Let's go do this, whatever. I can't see going to the Publix in a Bentley, but in any event, who cares? But I'm glad nobody got hurt. That's really the main thing. He's got insurance up the ass, and he's got money to repair the arrears on these things. So, but it's challenging for if you want to ride with him and you're a little sketchy on speed and passing on the left, passing on the right, and getting even with another car in the next lane over, and act like you want it, like you're a high school kid and you want to race. But that's just Vince. That's the way he likes to live. And so it's not my place or yours or anybody else to say, well, he's got to slow down. Well, he ain't slowing down, and you just hope that he doesn't run out of chances.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about Vince McMahon's birthday. I don't know if you saw this, but on Sunday, the 24th, he turned 80 years old. And I guess last week, in advance of his birthday, he threw himself one of the biggest birthday parties around. As I understand it, he sort of took over New York City. I'm not probably supposed to stooge it all off, but I know that Jerry the King Lawler actually posted a picture of himself on social media at the event. So you see left to right there, you've got Miz and Maurice, Titus O'Neil, Jerry the King Lawler, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. There was footage that came out last week that showed JBL and Bruce Pritchard and Jerry Briscoe. I mean, I don't know. I'm hearing there could have been, 200 or 300 people at this, and Vince apparently spared no expense. I don't know if I should share all the details, but have you been to Vince McMahon birthday parties before? What can you tell us about a big Vince birthday party?
He spares no cost. The best food, the best booze, usually music. So anything he would do for a party that in his own honor, you got to believe and should believe. I've been there. I've seen it. Now I wasn't invited to this party, but I'm not. My feelings aren't hurt. I'm good with it. It's hard for me to travel nowadays, Conrad. It's sitting it so long in the same basic position when you've had hip surgeries. It's a killer. And so but I didn't hear about that party. I've never seen that picture. To me, that's a JR exclusive as far as I'm concerned. Uh, put that picture back up. I want to show you something that it's always been a pet peeve of mine. Look at Lawler's sleeves.
I knew you were going to say that.
God damn it. Shivani used to have the same problem. I rode his ass so hard and so long that he's finally getting his coats altered. So, but the King, his right sleeve would touch his knuckles if he had his arms straight, and I can't deal with that. Lawler and we got several appearances coming up too. I'll have to give Bull a list of those. We're still drawing. You go to autograph signing, and one of the biggest lines in the facility is the King and JR. And I'm so damn proud of that. That's because people are there that I know didn't see us in our heyday, but they're still supporting us. And because they usually got their dad or their uncle or grandpa or whatever with them, who's telling them stories about us or what we said one time or what we did, or they met me before or met Lawler and I before. So it's very rewarding, quite frankly. But so Jerry and I got several appearances coming up together, and I hope folks that are if we're in your area, I hope you'll come see us.
Absolutely. We hope everybody goes and sees you and the King. It's always a good time, and you guys are always so gracious with fans.
Yep.
This is a big deal. Vince turning 80. I mean, it's a big milestone birthday. Respectfully, we don't know how many more of those anyone can ask for at 80, but I think his mom lived to be older than 100. Were you at Vince's 70th or 60th? Do you remember there being any big milestone birthdays you can share with us? We just want to learn a little bit more about Vince.
Well, it's just he's not going to spare any expense. He's going to have a band. He's going to have great food, expensive booze, and he's the star of the show. So he's in his world. He's in his lane, and he drives as fast in that lane as he wants to. I think if Jen were here and we asked her that question, that some of her happier moments were at functions like that, where we'd get together for a birthday or whatever, and he was just a gracious host. He loved to be celebrated, and but 80's pretty damn special. Guys that knew Vince back in the day, probably someone has said he won't live to be 80, but he's done it. And how he's done it is luck and good fortune, and he's got good DNA.
Well, I think a lot of people are surprised. I even when I came into the office the other day after Lawler had posted that picture, a guy in my office actually said, "Can you believe all those people were at Vince's birthday party?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed to hear that it was so well attended and he has so much support. I think the worm has sort of turned on Vince with a lot of fans, largely because of this lawsuit. But clearly, people who worked with Vince and had a long-standing working relationship with him. I mean, guys like Bruce and JBL and Jerry Briscoe. And we've even seen, other folks like John Cena come out in support of Vince McMahon. Do you think there's a day where we'll see Vince back in WWE, Jim?
Never say no. Never say never. He'd be a positive addition to the party, so to speak, if given the opportunity. I just don't know what he wants to do. I don't think he wants to get immersed in the business, but it'd be easy to fit him in. I saw somewhere online, somebody sent me something where they said that I was negotiating with WWE to go back. I hadn't heard that one. I haven't talked to them. No plans to go back. Not that I'm saying that out of animosity or anger, but it's not the right time for me to get more involved in business. But they could come to me with an idea that we haven't discussed, and I might reconsider. But I like being where I am. I like the schedule that I have, the freedoms that I have. I enjoy working with these young talents. I developed a good relationship with all those kids at AEW, and I'm happy where I am. I really am. It's not a lot of stress and pressure. And I just I signed a new contract for a year.
Oh, good for you. Breaking news here.
Yeah. We got that done before I left. So,
So it's official now. You're with AEW through next summer?
1 year.
Okay.
Next summer. Next August, I think it is.
SaveWithConrad.com.
My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California. I came to Save with Conrad because I've heard Conrad talk about how he helps people all the time save money and the best route to go for getting some mortgages and finances done. And having heard so many different testimonials in the past, it made the most sense to go this route. We were in the market for a new house and we wanted to know what we could afford. So we spoke with Steve and then Diane to get through the pre-approval process to see what we could afford. And then once we were able to understand that aspect of it, that was when we were able to shop around for a house to get a mortgage through Save with Conrad. Everybody on the team was great. Everybody really explained everything fully to where it was more in like layman's terms to where I could understand it as someone not in the business or having shopped around for houses too many times. So being able to understand every step of the process and talking with everyone on the team about that was really, really helpful. And it made me feel really confident that I was going the right route. I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. I know that sometimes people look at it and they go, oh, they're based in Alabama. What could they help me with? But I'm out here in California and they were able to square everything away and get things done really quickly, as opposed to sometimes even people out here don't move as quickly as the Save with Conrad team. So everything was really well done, really efficient, and I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California, and I was able to get into my dream home with SaveWithConrad.com.
That's number 212, non-equal housing lender. SaveWithConrad.com.